This program contains dramatizations of real people and events. Some names have been changed. This program is for mature audiences only. It contains graphic images which may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. An ambush, a desperate search, unimaginable terror. This time, the parents are the police, and they ask a psychic to help find their son.
There's a trail of energy after a criminal act. If I could get into that energy, I could find where they took him.
In California, another lost son, another set of worried parents. But a very different story, with a young man battling his own fears.
He was holding back a bit, and part of his holding back is he didn't want to pain his parents.
When clues are scarce and answers elusive, investigators sometimes turn to a psychic witness. Malvern, Arkansas, a small town of 10,000, near the state's famous hot springs. On November 14, 1991, the Eford family prepares for a weekend hunting trip. Henry and Anita Eford could use a break. They make their living fighting crime. Henry works for the Hot Springs Sheriff's Department, and Anita's a probation officer. Their 18-year-old son, Tyson, has to go to work first, but we'll meet them later at their cabin.
Windy road, it scares me coming
Don't work too hard now. We gotta have a lot of energy. If we work too hard, so we'll see you.
Take care of those right now. Jesse, careful with the eggs.
That evening at work, Tyson gets some bad news.
Hey, you got a 68 Ford truck?
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend just hit it.
What?
It was an
my
accident.
truck?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Tyson's proud of his truck. He and his dad have spent a lot of time fixing it up. But there's nothing wrong,
If you hit it, man, you didn't even make a mark.
at least with the truck.
I don't know what you're doing. Come on,
When Tyson doesn't come back, his manager calls the sheriff's department. At the family cabin, Tyson's parents are worried. He's more than an hour late. Then, a car pulls up.
And at first, I thought it was Tyson coming in. And I told Henry, I said, no, it's Sheriff Doyle Cook.
They assume Henry's needed on police business, and their vacation's over.
But Doyle told Henry, I think we have a problem. He said, we can't find Tyson. His truck was still on the parking lot, but they couldn't find him.
Honey, get your coat. Come on, come on, come on. What's happened? Get your coat. Pass it.
And I looked in the truck, and his school books was there, and a gift that he had gotten from my mother, because that was her birthday. And he was supposed to take the gift over there to her before he came on down to the deer camp. So, I knew right then something had happened to Tyson.
They hear about the man saying he hit Tyson's truck. If he abducted Tyson, why? The Efords know they've made enemies.
Maybe something that we had done, that people were trying to get back at us, some type of revenge. Because we both had dealt with some pretty hard-nosed criminals.
Henry's busted hundreds of them. Too many to track down now. No one knows who took him, but Tyson has vanished. Friends on the force pitch in.
Early that morning, they started making flowers, you know, and putting all over town. People were coming in asking what they could do. I just needed to get by myself. So I came to the house, and I went up in his bedroom. Of course, it was still left like he had left it. And I just sit there and I just cried because I felt useless. I mean, here is my son out there, and I don't know where he's at. And it was real hard to handle that because he's my one and only child and ever will have, and I was not going to lose him, and I was not going to give up on him.
Anita's maternal instinct tells her Tyson's still alive. Yet 3 days pass with no word from him, no ransom calls, nothing. State Police Corporal Chuck Hefner understands the numbers are stacked against Tyson.
The first 24 hours is always crucial, and 3 days is just not good.
Still, Tyson is like family to these cops.
Okay, did you get the details?
Never do you give up or you don't quit. You want to find this child, and as long as you have not found him dead, you have hope that he's alive.
As the search continues, a psychic will help build that hope.
Muzzle of a gun. I looked first to see if, in fact, he's still alive, and he was alive. The energy was living energy.
Alive, but about to endure the worst terror of his life. 3 days after Tyson Eford's abduction, Malvern, Arkansas police still have no leads. Tyson's parents, Henry and Anita, will do anything to find him.
My brother asked me if I cared if he called Carol Pate, a psychic. I said, absolutely. I said, call whoever you need to call. We need to find out where he's at just as quick as possible.
Carol agrees to take on the case and starts right away.
I use what's known as psychometry, which is touching the photograph and then translating the energy that I receive, and I can then become one with the individual. If they go through a severe trauma, I feel the trauma. If they see the perpetrator, I'll see the perpetrator.
Immediately, Carol has good news about Tyson.
And he was alive. The energy was living energy. I began to see what happened to him. I looked at the men, and I saw one of them had camouflage and a big buckle with an eagle on it. And one of them had cowboy boots. And I saw them put him into their truck. I felt his fear. I felt his frustration. I felt the fear of, am I going to be alive or dead?
Tyson's parents need more specifics. So Carol asked to go where the abduction occurred.
And that's where the peak of the energy would be. And I wanted to follow their trail. There's like a trail of energy that's left after a criminal act. And it's got a lot of trauma in it. It's a very strong energy. And I felt like if I could get into that energy, I could get a lot more detail and maybe find where they took him.
Carol sees it was a random abduction.
I knew that they did not know who Tyson was. They didn't know who his parents were. It wasn't about revenge. They did it because it was an opportunity, and they just wanted to do it. It was then that I began to hear Ridge. And I asked Mr. Eford, "What's Ridge? This is important. I'm getting Ridge." He said to me, "That might be Ridge Road." I knew that was it. And I said, "We need to go to Ridge Road."
Once there, Carol sees the abductors taking Tyson down a gravel road.
Gravel road soon.
As they drive on, Ridge Road turns to gravel. More details emerge.
I began to see the house, and it was a very plain, flat, white house. And I then saw the inside of the house, and I saw them take him and place him in a very small room in the back of the house. As we were driving down Ridge Road, we came to the end where you either turned right or you turned left. All of a sudden, everything shut down. I couldn't pick up anything. It was just blank. It was very strange. I just feel blank. The energy trail has stopped. I have been in situations where I followed energy trails, and they just go in so many different directions that it gets confusing after a while. But I've never had it where it completely blanked and stopped, like that one did.
Yet the trip was not in vain.
I think what Carol told me is kind of like backed me up that he is still alive, because I felt like he was, and by her telling me that several times, that kept me going.
Carol continues to seek out Tyson.
I can barely breathe.
I feel the muscle.
Every
of the
day,
gut.
I would hold Tyson's
head.
picture to see what was happening. I could feel his fear. I knew that they were torturing him.
Some of the torture is physical. Some is mental.
And I felt a gun barrel at the side of my head, and I heard the barrel spinning. And I heard them talking about Russian roulette. And they showed him the gun, and they spun the barrel and pulled the trigger. And they did this quite a few times, and it was horrific. He was very frightened, very frightened.
All for the sick pleasure of the abductors.
They seem to enjoy the opportunity of having another human being completely at their disposal. The power to do anything they wanted to do with another human being. They wanted to see how far they could push this poor boy.
There are some things Carol won't share. Horrible things.
Because it wouldn't do any good. It would probably bring more fear to them, and it wouldn't help anything.
Then, the psychic has a vision
He puts a gun.
that challenges everyone's hope.
The man took Tyson outside, And he showed Tyson 3 holes in the ground. At that point, he put a gun to Tyson, and he told Tyson, "One grave is for your mother, one grave is for your father, one grave is yours." I knew that his life was coming to a turn. I got very afraid for Tyson.
Any last words?
5 days after Tyson Eford's abduction, police continue their search for him. Tyson's father, a sheriff's investigator, will not rest until he has his son back.
Henry had a job to do, and he's good at his job.
Despite every effort, still no sign of Tyson. Psychic Carol Pate envisioned 2 men holding Tyson captive near Ridge Road, in a white house, in a small back room. She saw terrible mental torture, Russian roulette,
We got some plans for you, boy.
threats of burying Tyson and his family, and horrific violations. Yet she believes Tyson is still alive. Investigators focus the search in the area Carol envisioned. They don't realize how close she got them. The man Tyson Eford knows as Mr. Smith is feeling the pressure. He abducted a young man whose family will never give up. A young man who will not give up himself.
He got real nervous and real edgy. He said, "That's a police car that just rolled by real fast." And I seen my picture on TV missing. And he was watching TV with me. And the media and law enforcement really put pressure on him to do something. Either he's gonna have to kill me or he's gonna have to let me go. And I didn't feel like he was gonna let me go.
I'm so sick of this. See the trouble you've caused me?
The past 5 days have been a living hell. A completely random act of violence.
I remember they got me down in this room, and then a blindfold come off my head.
A small back room, like Carol saw. The first night, the man Mr. Smith calls Eric plays Russian roulette with Tyson.
I think it is.
I started crying. I was scared. I didn't know what was going on.
After that night, Tyson never sees Eric again.
There was no way of thinking that I could get away. There was always a gun on Mr. Smith. He always kept a gun close by him. So I knew if I tried to make a run for it, he would shoot me in the back. I was tied to the bed. I was raped that day. That was the first time. And then I was raped again, 3 times. And I was scared to death.
Tyson tries to leave fingerprints behind.
Because if I was killed and put in a ditch or somewhere, and it traced back to that house, that he would be convicted and my death would not go unpunished.
He's doing what he can, but he's weak.
I hadn't had anything to eat. I was thirsty. Your body shuts down after so much. Your mind does not think like it normally does.
At one point, Tyson glimpses a piece of mail, though he's not sure of the name.
And then I kept that name in my mind because if I ever could get loose or get away without harm, then I would tell them who he is.
As the search closes in on the house, Tyson fears he doesn't have long to live. Psychic Carol Pate seeks help in a higher power.
God, we would please pray. After the experience of seeing the 3 graves, I had some friends come over and we did a prayer vigil for him. And we did this for about an hour, asking that Tyson be released safely in an area where he could get immediate help. And we prayed to God over this. That he be strengthened by the Holy Spirit. We needed a miracle. The family needed a miracle. Tyson needed a miracle.
Suddenly, Mr. Smith comes for him.
And he had the pistol in his hand, and we walked across the yard, across the road, and finally got there. And he said, I want to show you these 3 graves. So then he said, get down in that ditch. And he said, I'm gonna have to kill you. He said, you have any last words? And I said, yes, I do. I just prayed to the Lord that don't let this man do this to me. Please, don't let him do this to me.
You don't need to do this. Please, just let me go.
And something right there triggered him not to kill me. And then that's when he says, I can't kill you.
The man drives Tyson away from the house.
My body was completely drained. I did not have no energy at all. I felt like I was just gonna pass out from exhaustion.
I'm gonna set you free. You know I don't have to do this now, don't you?
I know.
You're not gonna tell anybody, are you?
Amazingly, he lets Tyson go.
I never trusted him. I never thought that he wasn't still gonna hurt me. I was afraid that he would come back, so I ran as fast as I could to the nearest house.
Oh! I've been on the news.
When Tyson's parents get the call, they're overwhelmed and cautious.
Henry said, we don't know if it's a setup, we don't know what's going on, and you stay in the car until I get out and I get Tyson. I said, okay. So as soon as he walked up and I saw Tyson walk out and he had Henry and they just grabbed each other. And so then that's when I jumped out of the car and I got him, and all I could do was just hold him, and I was crying. And I was saying, it's okay, you're safe now, because he was shivering.
Tyson's parents rush him to the hospital, where he is treated for severe dehydration. He is safe.
The tie's off my wrist.
Now they need to get the men who did it.
Tyson told me the guy that kidnapped him was named Eric, and the other man that owned the house was Carl Pate.
A piece of mail on a table. Tried to get a name or something.
The sheriff's department realized they had a warrant on a Carl
Are you sure
Mini.
it wasn't Carl Mini?
It could have been.
When Many arrives home, officers descend and take him into custody without incident. In June 1992, a jury finds Carl Many guilty of 3 counts of rape, 1 count of kidnapping, and 1 count of attempted murder. He receives 3 life sentences, plus 50 years. Wes Barber, the man Tyson knew as Eric, learns of Manny's arrest and surrenders to police. He receives a 20-year sentence, which is reduced by half in exchange for his testimony against Manny. Tyson's parents tell him about Carol Pate's psychic visions.
It was freaky to me when I heard things that she knew, only I know. How did she know that? It's just a remarkable thing, but I believe that certain people do have powers to see things. They have a gift from God that only He gives.
Tyson Eford refuses to let the horrific experience ruin his life.
I made a decision in my life. I'm gonna hold my head up straight and have a productive life.
Or go hiking or something, you could do that.
It's definitely brought us closer together as a family. It's the most wonderful thing to be together as a family and be there for your family.
The Eford family never gave up hope and maintained their faith in their God, themselves, and a devoted psychic who cared. 1,700 miles west, another family seeks a missing son and find the foundations of all they know shaken forever.
Okay, as I come into Alex's vibration today, I'm able to come in even stronger.
August 24th, 2002. Orange County, California. It's an average day for Patty Zingaro until she gets home that night.
Surprise!
Oh, wow. Well, thank you.
Her husband, Al, and their youngest son have planned a surprise birthday party.
This is really nice.
But the biggest surprise of all is seeing her eldest son, Alex.
Wow.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
For the last 2 years, Alex has been away, pursuing his dream of becoming a professional snowboarder while attending college in Lake Tahoe. He did well enough to be sponsored and was on the verge of breaking through. But he missed his family. Alex returns to Carlsbad and starts his junior year, ready for a new beginning. Patty missed her son and loves having him back, close to home.
I always told him I loved him whenever I talked to him on the phone or whenever he left. I just felt that that was always really important. And Alex was a very easy child to tell that to because he was warm and responsive. You know, when you hugged him, he hugged you back. It was always a good hug.
The next morning in Carlsbad, Alex is scheduled for training at a local restaurant.
Hey, it's Alex. I'm gonna be a little late. I'm running a little late.
His roommate, Scott Alderson, has an early class at Cal State San Marcos, where they are both enrolled.
I'm going into work late.
I went in his room to say hi and see what time he had to go into work. And he said he was going in about a half an hour. So I left for school. You know, nothing unusual. Everything seemed fine and normal. And then he didn't come home at all that night.
The next day, no sign of Alex.
Alex, you up? Alex, you up? Alex, you in here, man?
His school books are still in the apartment, but his truck is gone.
So at that point, I started to become a little worried, you know, where he could be. If he had gone to school, why he didn't come get his books. So at that point, I was a little concerned. And then it was later on that afternoon when I called his mom.
Hello?
Hey, it's Scott. Yeah, have you seen Alex?
Okay, have you not seen him for a while?
We immediately
When's the
went
last
into
time you saw
something
him?
bad has happened to him. Either somebody's done something to him, or he had an accident and he's off the road somewhere. Because it was so not like Alex to not leave a note or tell somebody where he was going to be. He never just disappeared.
But Alex is gone, and there is no trace of where he went. In September 2002, Patty and Al Zingaro's 22-year-old son Alex is missing. Fearing the worst, they call police.
How can I help you? What can I do for you?
Our son is missing.
Okay. How long has he been missing?
Al Zingaro senses it will take more than that to find his son.
We'll get the pictures, we'll get those out, and we'll start looking around. I will,
The police were cordial, but at the same token, they were a little bit distant in the way they reacted to us when we asked the question, well, what do you do from here? So that first meeting was somewhat, from a parent's standpoint, a little bit evasive in terms of what action they would take.
You don't know
Ramones, may I help you?
Officers learned that on the morning Alex disappeared, he called into work, saying he would be late. But he never showed up. No one at the restaurant has seen Alex since. The Zingaros and a group of friends and volunteers distribute missing posters anywhere Alex might have been seen. Word of the disappearance quickly spreads around the Zingaros' neighborhood. The next-door neighbor takes the news hard.
Patty, how are you? How are you, dear?
She said, Patty, is it true? Is Alex missing? And I said, yes.
We're just trying to put
I told her that we didn't know what happened to Alex. And she started crying.
I'll get it there as soon as I can.
Patty's neighbor takes a dramatic step. She calls psychic Rosemary Kerr for help. Rosemary has had psychic abilities since childhood.
I feel my abilities are God-given, that I have been given a gift. And the gift is not to use for myself, but to use to help others. I know and believe that all people are given certain gifts of the Spirit. Mine are just very, very highly sensitized and developed because I've used them all my life.
Rosemary calls the Zingaros and first talks to Al.
Hello?
Okay, and she told me you have a son missing? And when I went into Alex's vibration, he didn't like his new school, he's not happy in his new job. He's angry, he's sad, he's mad. He's very depressed. And as I was explaining this to the father, he found that very, very difficult to believe.
For her to have stated that was kind of, like I said, I was skeptical of that. I was not buying into that. I think I just paused on the phone and said, you know, I believe everything you said so far, but I don't buy that one. I just don't buy the depression thing.
I'm going to bed.
Al continues to pour himself into the search for Alex, working long into the night. But if psychic Rosemary Kerr is on the mark, Alex is in deep trouble. And unless he is found soon, he may be gone forever.
Have you not seen him for a while? When's the last time?
In early September 2002, Al and Patty Zingaro are living a nightmare. Their 22-year-old son, Alex, has been missing for days. So far, questions outnumber answers. Psychic Rosemary Kerr senses Alex is severely depressed, filled with pain and anger. His parents suspect foul play.
This just was not his MO. That was not Alex's way. He always was very responsible about letting people know where he was going, who he was with, and when he was going to be back, and he had never done anything like this before.
By Saturday, September 7th, Alex has been missing for more than 72 hours. Family and friends post flyers, hoping someone will recognize him. By Sunday night, there is still no sign of Alex. In desperation, Patty gets back in touch with Rosemary.
This is Patty. I just wanted to talk with you a little bit about Alex.
I wanted to speak with her myself, because when this comes upon you so suddenly, you're gonna go to any source to help you in trying to locate your child.
What I'm going to try to do is see if I can hone in a little closer on Alex. When I was talking with Patty, it was easier. She was more open, maybe because it was woman to woman, I don't know. She was more relaxed, so I can get in closer to her. And again, asking all these various questions on Alex that she could answer, was able to open the doors for me. I felt Alex was trying to communicate in a very subtle way because he wanted to communicate, but I felt like he was holding back a bit. But I knew at that time that I had him. He was coming in stronger, and I knew that we were on the right path. Also, what came in there is I started to see Alex in different places. I keep seeing Alex in the mountains. There's trees around him, a lot of trees. I'm out somewhere, and I felt like I was going up the Ortega Highway, which goes up into different areas. Please keep continuing to...
But she can't see exactly where Alex is yet.
Alex, I love you. Yes, he will be communicating. And I heard myself telling her, if a phone rings or something else, say, I love you, Alex, it's okay. Let him know you love him.
Okay.
For Patty, coming to grips with Rosemary's visions is heart-wrenching. But new evidence is about to challenge everything.
Find out if my son's
Al goes to his son's bank on a hunch.
My feeling was, let me see if there had been some ATM activity over the last couple of days, because that would give me a clue, and I could also share that information with the police department, and we might be able to pick up some sort of a trail. And I was successful.
I see 2 transactions.
Alex's account has been accessed twice since his disappearance.
2 transactions.
There was one transaction for a mini market type of place in Escondido. And then there was another transaction that was in Colton at a gas station.
Al takes the bank records to police. And a Carlsbad detective follows up on the lead. Whoever made the purchases must have something to do with Alex's disappearance. The detective is surprised. He recognizes the young man on the tape. It's Alex Zingaro.
I was relieved to see that he was still okay, and it was him in person. I was starting to wonder if possibly he had gone off on his own and that he was the distressed young man that Rosemary had visions of. But I couldn't understand why.
Based on Alex's sighting at the mini-mart, the search turns toward the San Bernardino National Forest and Big Bear Lake. Friends and family search around the lake.
I can't even imagine where he would have gone.
But there's no sign of Alex or his truck. Later that night, Alex's roommate, Scott Alderson, and some friends return to the apartment.
We were messing around on his computer. What we were looking for was any kind of signs or any kind of websites that he had been searching to see if maybe he had been planning some kind of a trip. And that's when we came across a letter. And the minute I read it, I had a horrible feeling.
Scott calls Alex's parents and tells them what they found.
It was addressed to Al and myself and his brother. It basically said everything that Rosemary had said from the very beginning, that he had been waking up every morning for the past few months, super depressed, and he just had to get away. He didn't know where he was going, but he was just going to get in his truck and start driving.
Okay, yeah, I'll print one out.
The Zingaros make a fateful decision.
My husband told Scott, please don't tell anybody about the note, because when the police find out about this note, they will drop us like a hot potato. They will no longer search for Alex.
So good to meet you.
Al and Patty turn to Rosemary for help.
I don't know if you've ever had a reading before.
This time, the psychic conducts a reading in her home.
Okay, before I didn't get into Alex very deeply when I read for you over the phone, but today I'm going in more deeply in his vibration. The other thing that I see around him when I come into vibration around him is that he's very unsatisfied, unsettled in his life. Emotionally, he is a wreck, alone and hurting inside. I feel like I'm up in the mountains. We went over the Ortega Highway. I'm high in the trees. There's trees all around me. I can see this big body of water. And I know you were concerned when I spoke with both of you that Alex would not leave without telling you. And have you heard anything from Alex as yet? And what is this?
A note that we found off of his computer.
Okay. Again, I still get the same vibration around Alex. He wants to be away. He's kind of running away from life, not from family. He doesn't want to hurt you. He didn't want to upset you. So he hid a lot of things from you.
How did we not see this?
And it's nothing that you did as parents. You need to know that. He loves you very, very much, and he will communicate. So if the phone rings and you don't hear anybody at the other end, this is Alex calling in. But the main thing you need to know, he loves you.
Rosemary Kerr believes Alex is still alive, but in deep trouble. If he is not located quickly, his parents may never see him again.
Hey, how's it going? Not bad.
The Carlsbad police re-interview Scott Alderson.
I told him that I found a letter. And they pretty much called the search off at that point.
With the police off the case, the Zingaros are running out of options. If something isn't done, Alex may be lost forever. In early September 2002, college junior Alex Zingaro disappears from his Carlsbad, California apartment. Despite the best efforts of the Zingaros, Alex's friends, and the Carlsbad Police Department, 6 days have passed and Alex remains missing. Psychic Rosemary Kerr senses that Alex is desperate and depressed, but still alive. Every phone call brings renewed hope.
Hello? Alex? Alex, is that you? Come home, we can help you.
She told us that there's a chance that he could call us and maybe not say anything. And if we got any phone calls that no one was saying anything, for us to say, you know, Alex, we love you, please come home.
Alex is still out there, but the Zingaros have no idea where.
I was at wit's end trying to think, what else more can we do? Without leads, we are totally ineffective as parents. We still felt there was some way we could reel him in, and we were obviously wrong.
On September 12th, hikers at Big Bear Lake find Alex Zingaro.
That phone call was, a phone call that I hope no other parent ever gets. It's like the worst thing you could possibly ever get in your life, that your child is dead.
Months after Alex's death, his parents are still consumed with grief.
I literally just turned to stone. I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I was just like a statue. But somehow you continue to do what you have to do, even if you're doing it as like you're the walking dead yourself. A suicide dies once. Those left behind die 1,000 deaths, trying to figure out why. I think it was the beginning of November. I had an incredible dream.
Alex?
It was in a Big Bear type of woodsy setting, and just searching, I was looking everywhere for Alex, and all of a sudden, there he was. And it was so real.
I love you too.
And I ran up to him and I was crying, and I said, Alex, where have you been? We have been looking everywhere for you. Where have you been? What have you done? And he said, Mom, he said, I want you to stop crying. He said, I don't want to see you sad anymore. He said, and I'm okay. I'm really okay. I just look at that was a gift from him. I always thought he was okay and that he was with God.
The Zingaros now tried to help others deal with the realities and dangers of depression.
I feel that doing what I can to get the word out to people, to be aware of suicide and depression, and that it is okay to talk about it and to ask for help, that is my goal to do in Alex's memory. I would have traded my life in a heartbeat for him if I could have. I'm sorry he didn't get to live. All the dreams that you have in your children, those are all the what ifs now. That'll never be for Alex. I'll never be the same. My husband will never be the same. His brother will never be the same. Life will never be joyful for me again in the same sense it was. Your heart's broken. And the saddest thing is, it can't be fixed because you can't bring them back. So you just go on and do what you have to do and hope that we'll be together soon.
One son snatched away without warning. Another hid the warnings until the end. Both families reached out to psychics who tried to shed some light in the darkness. Sometimes there are no easy answers, and only questions remain. As families try their best to heal.